We have come so far. After the Civil War, a plethora of civil rights amendments and laws were passed, abolishing and prohibiting slavery. In 1865, the 13th Amendment was ratified. It established a degree of citizenship for former slaves. The Civil Rights Act of 1866 was the nation's first civil rights law. It proclaimed all males born in the U.S. to be citizens. However, it did not offer any protection for voting rights. Hi, I'm Alita Anderson, and I'm here with Mary Johnson. So, what do you have to say about the Voting Rights Act that's been recently passed?
Honestly, voting rights have always mattered. That's all I gotta say.
So what are your opinions on the Voting Rights Act?
Well, I spilled a lot of blood on that bridge in Selma, Alabama for my right to vote. I'm just glad President Johnson finally came to his senses and passed the Voting Rights Act.
Finally signed into law, U.S. legislation passes the Voting Rights Act, which allows African Americans to exercise their right to vote under the 15th Amendment of the United States Constitution. Taking a look at President Lyndon B. Johnson's speech.
Is the basic right, without which all others are meaningless. It gives people, as individuals, control over their own destinies. Last year I said, until every qualified person, regardless of the color of his skin, has a right, unquestioned and unrestrained, to go in and cast his ballot in every precinct in this great land of ours.
The purpose of this act was to enforce the 15th Amendment and terminate loopholes for state and local governments to pass laws that resulted in a racial discrimination of a group. Signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson, the Voting Rights Act banned literacy tests that were used to prevent blacks from voting and outlawed racial discrimination.
Less than 48 hours, I sent the Voting Rights Act of 1965 to Congress. In little more than 4 months, the Congress, with overwhelming majorities, enacted one of the most monumental laws in the entire history of American freedom. The members of the Congress and the many private citizens who worked to shape and pass this bill will share a place of honor in our history for this one act alone.
The Civil Rights Act of 1964 is a powerful step for the United States. After the murder of Edgar Everett and Birmingham police reacting negatively to a peaceful desegregation demonstration on May 1963 with fire hoses and unleashing police dogs to break up thousands of demonstrators, President Kennedy introduced the Civil Rights Act in a June 12th speech, finally outlawing discrimination on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, and sex in public accommodations, employees, and federal funded programs. The new law established a pathway for many more movements, people, and organizations to develop by creating more reliable protection and more enforcement for desegregation. The Civil Rights Act of 1964 basically canceled the laws of Jim Crow's separate but equal that controlled most of the South. It ended legal Jim Crow and secured African American equal access to public facilities. It is considered the most powerful influence in the ongoing civil rights movement. Breaking news for women in the United States. We've entered a new era. On June 23, 1960, the FDA approved of the use of birth control. The sale for Enovid for use as an oral contraceptive appeared in October 29, 1959. Being advertised by GD Cirilay and Company, this is the first hormonal birth control, but it comes with a few side effects of nausea, weight gain, and more severe issues like stroke. Even so, Enovid had an instant popularity in the US. This unsweetened candy was approved by the Drug Administration in 1957 for the use of menstrual regulation, but the bottle had a warning label stating that the drug would also prevent pregnancy. This warning label was the best marketing tactic that a drug company could ask for. Within 2 years, more than 500,000 women were taking the pill.